start streaming. Still getting used to this. Hi, welcome to my second live stream. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the block and see if we can reuse it. It won't take too long, just going to be a couple tools, a couple measurements to make. Let's go ahead and bring the camera in and I'll show you what I'm going to measure first. Switch this sucker. Now I can see what I'm looking at. Go. All right. So my first measurement is going to be block deck height. So what I'm going to do is drop the feeler gauge, pick the feeler gauge up, and now I'm looking for warpness in the head. So I'm going to lay this down, I'm going to take a peek, look for light. I don't see any. Put this in, and I'm going to see if I can drag this out, and I can. So there's some slight drag there. Get that light out of the way. Tight. Now it's very tight there. The same thing on this side. All I'm doing is looking to see how much warpage there is on the deck. And that was 0.02, and it was kind of loose. This one's... Now keep in mind I haven't scraped the cylinder head off yet. Oh, the block. Can't get there, that's tight. This one's 2.5. That one's kind of tight. That one's kind of tight. So I'm going to recheck it once I scrape this off. But right now it looks like it can be worked with. If it was too high, then I would do other things to it. Okay, so that was deck flatness. Seems to be okay. Next tool I'm going to use is my dial bore gauge. And I already got this set up because I've already used this once already on this to see how good it was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on here. I'm going to find my lowest setting, which in this case will be a negative. So that 2.95 is my lowest. Zero it. Now I'm going to rotate it. This will check my out of round. What I can do is I can hit my min max here. Go back and forth. Let's zero the tool again. Keep hitting the button too many times there. Let's find the high is negative again. Okay, there we go. That one is 0 now. Now let's do this again. Go a little deeper. About 1,000ths there. Let's check this again. Oh, definitely not. try that now. Yeah, so just under 1,000, so I'm out of round. Bring it down to the bottom. Press it again. My taper's 0.0015 thousandths. My taper there. Wait, that's better. So a little bit of a taper, a little bit of an out of round, but not horrible. Nothing to write home about. 170,000 miles. I had better numbers yesterday when I checked it. On camera, things never work out quite as well as you want it to. And that'll give me my tapering out of round. And I had much better numbers yesterday when I wasn't in such a hurry and such a mess. All right. So here I have our piston. What I do is I want to measure my piston to bore clearance. So to do that, I'm going to remove my rings, the compression rings. You got to be careful removing the compression rings because you don't want to take them off by hand. You don't want to wrench them off. In other words, you don't want to corkscrew them off because that'll put a bend in them. And well, it's not a big deal for these old rings. For new rings, it does make a big deal. So I like to practice with the tool. It's really that simple. Just going to get under here. Go on. Still got audio? Yeah, good. It's my number 2 ring. And the oil control rings you can take off with your fingers. Just pushing on the back side to push it out so I can grab it and then just worm it off. You don't really want to do that with those thick rings because if you do, it tweaks the rings. So if you use the rings again, or it's a bad habit. And if a ring breaks, they're cast iron, they're very sharp, and you will gouge your hand. As much as I don't mind bleeding on camera for you guys, don't want to do it today if I don't have to. Now this measurement is the important one. This is the piston fit measurement. Find the end. Where's the gap? Where's the gap? Where's the gap? When all else fails, grab a pick. Here's my last ring. Okay. I need that 2000s feeler gauge again. This is a 2000s feeler gauge. This is cylinder 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the right way. I put it in kind of upside down like this. I slide it down, and then I pull this out to see how it feels. Now, I haven't done this yet. So I wanted to wait. That actually feels really good. I have to pull on it. And this is a 0.04 millimeter feeler gauge, or 0.02 of an inch. And that feels really good. So that means do it right at the 90-degree part. It feels really good right there. Right at the end. That's where I want to feel it. Don't really want to feel it in the ringland part because the ringland part has carbon on the edges. But once I get past that, like right about there, it feels really good. That actually feels really good. So that means this piston can be reused. I'll do the rest later on, off camera. The one I did want to do was 5. 5 was the one that we had the leak. Set them aside. Definitely going to be using new rings. So when I say set them aside, I mean on my pile. Now I don't have a ring cleaner because what I've always done is use an old piston ring and break it carefully because it will cut your hand. Cameras are both still on, yes. Trying to remember to look to make sure everything's still working right because the last live stream I had no audio. Let's kind of do it like this. There you go. Maybe that'll help. Trying to make it entertaining for you guys. Go. And once again, take our fingers, grab this, take the other one, grab this, put it on the ground. Yeah, I take an O-ring, I break it, and then I use that as a ring groove cleaner. I find the ring groove cleaners that are out there. I might actually have one now that I think about it. The ring groove cleaners that are out there don't. Do that pick. They don't fit in these little tiny holes. Only fit in those fat ones. So this was the one that was losing air. When we did the leak down test, it failed. So this is the one I want. Oh, 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5. Sorry, lost track. Okay, come on, go down the hole. Slide this out easy, and it should feel tight the whole way up. And I shouldn't be able to get this in easy either. If I try to get this to go in by itself, it should be rather stiff, and it is, which is good. Because my piston to bore gap is between 1 point. Let's put this back over here. That's 5. I have the specs right here. My bore to where is it? Cylinder bore. We're going to measure. I'll show you how to measure that in a minute. Out of round, which I'm a little high on that when I measured it today, but I measured it the other day and it was much lower. So I'm not worried about that one. On camera, didn't work well. Sometimes it happens. Piston, here we go. Piston clearance. No. Clearance in piston. Where is it? I saw it earlier. There it is. So it's 1.3 thousandths to 2.7 thousandths. So I always like to fit my pistons on these GM engines about 2 thousandths, right in the middle of the ballpark there. And these pistons are already right at that point, right where I like them to fit. Now I'll have to check the rest. I'm not going to bore you guys by doing that all on camera. But my number one fit good, and the one that had the problems. Now, another thing I can do is check the ring gap, because that's probably what the problem there was. To do that, you put the ring in the bore, and then you take the piston, push it down just a little bit. I like to go to the last ring land. And then you measure the gap. It doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Now, possibilities for the problem could have been the rings were lined up. The rings were lined up. In other words, the gaps were lined up, which could cause a leak. Let's see, what's my spec here? What's my piston ring? Top groove clearance 2 to 3 thousandths. There's 3 thousandths. It's quite bigger than that. So the ring's worn out. But 170,000 miles. I'm not that surprised. It's 4 thousandths. Let's go 5 thousandths. Let's see a 5 thousandths. Let's see 6 thousandths. Let's see a 6 and a 7 thousandths. 6, 7. Yeah, so the ring is worn. 11 thousandths. Now in the realm of, oh my god. Yeah, still fits. Still fits in there easy, so. Ring's no good. But we knew that. Ring's no good. Alright, so last thing I want to show you guys before you go is how to use that tool. I have no idea where I put this video real quicker than we thought. There it is. How to use this tool to measure the cylinder bore. Open up my handy dandy micrometer box. Now these go from 0 to 1 inch to 11 to 12 inch. Yeah, it's that big. So let me see. 1, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. That's the one I want. Now to do this, you need to make this read the number you want. A couple ways you can do that. My cylinder bore should be from 3.5046 to 3.5053. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my micrometer to 3. Hopefully this is 3. 3.5. Yeah, we'll just set it to 3.5. That should work. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can put this in here. Find the smallest point. It's tough to do this. I usually put the micrometer in a vise. It's tough to hold it and press the button. Once you get in here square, there. If I'm anywhere, I'm a half a thousandth off. Now what you can do is you can put it in here and hit the minimum button again, swipe it back and forth, and then add this number to 3.5. So it would be 3.555. So that would be a little over, and again, that could be a little off. You can try it again. Yeah, 3.56, that's pretty close. You do the same thing this way. 3.75, that's a little better in numbers. The other thing you can do is you can set absolutes here. Where you can put in you can set this number to 3.5, and then any number that you read, well, this is not going to be right, but any number that you read will be the number that you want. Those are all in the instructions. I I don't use this thing enough to remember off the top of my head how to set this thing. I think you have to press the cow button. You're wrong. Well, anyways, you set it to 3.5 into my micrometer. Threw it away somewhere. You set this to 3.5. You can see we're just 50 thousandths over on that number. Whatever cylinder I did last, 3.550. Whatever cylinder I did last, .5, 3.550. So I guess maybe I can set this to 3.550. I'm at 3.5 right now. So 3.550 would be right there. All right, so that's 3.550 is what it's set to. I can hit minimum, sweep back and forth. Now I'm at 3.554. See, that doesn't seem right. We had better numbers before, so I prefer to set it first. Yeah, my numbers are off. My numbers are off, so I prefer to set it myself. It comes with instructions. Where they are, I don't know. Right here. It comes with instructions as to how to set it, and that's how I set it every time before I use this thing. It works best. I am not too worried about using this for accuracy because I know I can see the cylinder hole and scratchings in here from the original build back at the factory. I know my bore is not horrible because when I use this, yesterday I was playing with this. When I was playing with it, I checked them all and they were all pretty good. Piece of gasket. So I'm going to do a light scratch hone on this with my ball hone. I'm going to replace the rings and I'm going to go ahead and reuse those pistons. The engine will be fine. I did more careful measurements yesterday when I did it. The only other measurement I want to try to make, and I'm not going to be able to do it well because I don't have the right tool, is I like to measure across the mains. Yeah. Stick it in later. Take the main bearings out. Stress bearing is going to be a little tough. This one's going to be a little tough because it's got the little lip on it because it's the thrust bearing. There we go. It's got the thrust bearing on it. Again, it's clean. It's very clean. If you look, this bearing looks like it's just installed. I mean, I can't believe how it looks for 170,000 miles. I mean, I know I took care of it since 2004 when we picked it up, but my God, that bearing looks like it's brand new. It's kind of a shame what happened to this motor. Now what you usually do is take a round flat edge, because it's a round measurement, put it here, and then you'll take your feeler gauge. Where's that? 2020. And then put it down here and then try to pull it out. Now, it's obviously it's okay. That one's not good as I'd hope it to be, but again, I'm not using a round one. There you go. Usually use a machine ground rod to do this correctly, not a flat edge into a rounded surface. I don't have that, so that just is what it is. All right, well, that's really it for the measurements on the block. I did want to cut that oil filter over. I don't think I have anything that will do it. Let's see if we can cut through with a razor blade. There it is. Here's what we can do. We can remove it. Looking here for anything. I'm still looking to see where that piece of aluminum came from. Put that right there. Nice. Still got to use this piece of paper. Flat go that I had. Things are everywhere. There's a nice little scratch all. Everything to cut besides these. Better. I'd rather cut it open by peeling it rather than sawing it, because that'll just put metal chips into it. So I'm hoping to just peel it apart with a slide cutter here, at least partially. Take a look at the element that's inside. Go. It's not tools to use. Tin snips work nice. I don't have them down here. Let's peel this sucker open. Preferably without cutting my hand. This is what I use when assholes put oil filters on. Excuse my French. I use the channel locks when I can get in there. When assholes who don't like to put oil on the O-ring before they put it on, and it glues itself to it. And that's when you got to be careful that the O-ring doesn't stick to it. Doesn't take a genius. So just like a can opener, just kind of going around the filter. Nice, right in the bucket, right? So you guys didn't hear me because the audio wasn't working the last time I worked on this motor correctly. I had the voice over the last video. But I said when bolts drop, they sure enough will always fall in the bucket. Same thing with tools. Of course, the slickness isn't helping me at all. Should be able to peel this up now. I think. I will win. When things are difficult, they don't understand. I am going to win. Put this down a little bit. Maybe that'll help. There. Not too worried about the block because it's all going to get cleaned. Assuming, of course, the cylinder heads are good enough to reuse, which will be in a couple of videos. Next video, I'm going to check out the crank, see if it's round, see if that aluminum mark can be buffed out of it, and see if she's straight. And the video after that will be the cylinder heads. Or I'll take them apart, look at that number 3 valve that was leaking out the intake. See if it was a carbon deposit. There we go. Remember I said I didn't want to cut myself? Probably not going to happen here. No smaller channel locks. You guys don't mind seeing blood, right? Ow. There's a possible bloodshot right there. Alright. I mutilated this sucker. No, I'm not seeing any metal chips, though. There we go. There's the spring. Here's the inside, which is where you're going to find your garbage. Here's the yellow paper element. I see no metal. I see no metal. Yeah, see this? See no metal. So whatever it was, it didn't go through the oil system. Whatever it was, it came from within the engine. Unsure as to exactly where it came from. That rag's done. What's this bearing? Yeah, that was this bearing. Not sure where it came from. Still, I may never know where it came from. I took a look at the cam bearings a little closer. You guys can't see that. See nothing there. There's no other aluminum in this engine. So unless that aluminum just looks like aluminum and it was just scraped up bearing babbitt from something else that went through. I don't know. No clue. Somehow I got past the oil filter, past the pickup screen, past the oil filter, and into the oiling system. Oil comes from these holes right here. So somehow it came through this hole into here. You can see the aluminum right there. See it? See those still chunks of aluminum in there? Where the heck did it come from? Where did it come from? Don't know. Could have been a lot worse. Luckily, it didn't happen when I was on the highway. Well, that's really it. That's all I got for you for today. Next video, we're going to take a look at the crankshaft. See if we can reuse that. Be nice if we could. I believe we can. I'm pretty sure we can. The block's not bad. It's not as bad as it looked today. I mean, again, I looked at it yesterday. I bought all the tools down here and in here, and I played with it a little bit. I probably should have played with the absolute a little bit better. Show you that. Maybe on another video after I hone it, I'll show you that. Once it's clean. Once I give it a quick hone, wipe it down. That's really it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. I give it a few seconds before I shut it off because I know there's a delay between YouTube and my home base here.